One. It's loading.
I'm seeing meeting is not streaming live on YouTube. Well, are we live?
Not yet.
Yes, we are. We're live, guys.
Oh my gosh. Okay. This is amazing. Okay then.
Hold on. I want to first refresh this. If people are signed in and watching us figure this out, welcome, welcome. We are so glad to have you here.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Imelda, are we live?
No, not yet.
It's live. On
Really?
Yeah.
Okay, it isn't live here.
Networks. Okay. Well, I hope people are coming in, however they're coming in from wherever they're streaming this. Thank you so much for everyone that is with us. Hi, my name is Nyashomba Giddu. I am the founder of Free Mind Sessions, and you are being welcomed to the 38th edition of Free Mind Sessions. With me is my co-founder, Lindsay Obath, and we are very excited because this is a topic that has been buzzing around for quite some time right now, probably years on end, but right now it has come to the forefront, and we're very excited to be going deep and unpacking a lot today. With us in studio shortly, well, not studio, but mainly online, we have a few people who will introduce themselves, tell us what they are up to, how long they have been in this crypto space, what they've been doing, their limitations, their expectations, and also just giving you guys an insight on today's topic. Yes. Yeah, so I guess we can we can introduce. Everybody can come on. We're good, right? Okay, sawa. So my dear guests, I think we can all come online and we can introduce ourselves to our audience. I cannot see them, but I'm sure they're pretty excited to come meet you all and understand who you are. So guys, I think we can all have our videos on right now. There we are. Lovely. Okay, so I'm going to, begin. Okay, so just anybody can start. I think we can begin with Kevin. Please introduce yourself to the audience and tell us a little bit of what you do and why you're here today.
My name is Kevin Kamau, and my background is in telecommunications engineering, and I started looking into crypto in 2015, but then I didn't really understand what was happening, and it wasn't until the 2017 bull run that got my attention, and I came in big, participated in a few ICOs, did a lot of trading in and out of different coins, Bitcoin, Ethereum. Then 2018 came, and yeah, it was rough, lost a lot of money throughout of 2018. Then 2019 started building up, 2020, 2021. We hear other things I do is what we call over-the-counter trading, where I have a few clients that I help in converting Bitcoin to Kenya shillings to Bitcoin, that, and managing my own portfolio, and for a few others, and as well as teaching in the space and doing awareness. Yeah.
Oh, amazing. Thank you so much. And in session with us today, we have Ken, who's going to introduce himself and tell us why he's here today and what he's been doing in the space.
Yeah, hi guys. My name is Ken Beda. My background is in advertising, but I'm in the hotel business right now. I got into crypto in around 2015 when I think Bitcoin was around $250 at that time. I just dabbled into it, but around 2017 when it ramped up to, I think, 1,500, that's when I started saving most of my money in crypto. And I was just testing the waters back then, but uh, I bailed out at around 20,000 and got back in again last year when COVID hit. And that bull run has been pretty good to me because I did what most people, I wouldn't advise anyone to do. I put all my savings into crypto at that time, but it turned out well. So,
Okay.
yeah.
But how would you know without trying, you know? You say we have to try.
Yep.
That's what we're going to find out today, actually, whether we
Get
should
rich or
do
die
it.
trying.
I mean, thank you. Eugene, give us a bit of introduction to the audience. Let us know why you're here today.
Is usually Thai. I'm full tech. I've done nothing else but entire life. I mean, it was like I think it was a principal decision I made a back decade ago. Like I would only make money online. So I came across Bitcoin 2016, joked around with it. Like you know, like any Kenyan, I'm like, will I make enough money within the year with this? And I was like, nah. Then I left it. In 2017, it had tripled, and I was like, no way, man. So I remember telling me, finally, you believe in and you. So I was like, I might as well just use crypto because I was pretty like super interested in it. So I dove deeply into it. I took a couple of bank loans, dove like heads deep into crypto. Yeah, like like you said, I wouldn't have told anyone to do the same thing. Actually, most of my friends even did thought easy at that point in time. Um, I'm on my day to day for the last 8 years. I've pretty much been an engineer, senior software engineer over time. Also, I branched out in 2018 to start my own company, which is trying to democratize fundraising. Fundraising is just pretty hard, so we're trying to figure out how we can fundraise from your friends, and at the same time also like out stocks to be tradable in a secondary market like Arab Stock Exchange. So my job being a chief technical officer like at the company called GetRaise, and also like on the side crypto deep into it.
Okay, well, thank you. That's a very elaborate. I'm curious. There's a lot of questions that I'm sure people are going to have for you, Eugene, especially because it's something that you do at home, which people will find out in a bit. But before that, Ori, all the way from Kampala, is here with us, joining us today. Let us know who you are and why you're here today.
All right. My name is Ari Badabo Smith. My background is in finance and entrepreneurship. I mean, I've done quite a different jobs and tried quite a few businesses in my life, but my main background is in finance. I've worked in VC, and right now I'm a financial director for a small architectural firm. But I've also started my own business about 3 years ago with a partner of mine. We were doing, it was like a platform and a pop-up shop for small to medium-sized businesses that couldn't afford brick and mortar locations. I'm also into writing and world building. I'm a bit of a fantasy nerd and working on my own kind of multiverse, so to speak, which is why NFTs are so interesting to me. And yeah, I do a lot of project management for construction and things of that nature. But I've also got into cryptocurrency end of 2017. I felt like I was a bit late to the party. And at first it was just FOMO. Like a few of my tech savvy friends were getting into it heavy and telling me this is the next big thing, this is the next gold rush, don't get left behind. So yeah, I played with a few $100s and made ridiculous returns. And then like all logic and pragmatism went out the door and just went heavy into coins that made no sense because they were cheap. And I think most of you people can attest, lost a bag or two on that and licked my wounds throughout 2018, 2019, and then got back into it. And then during the COVID pandemic, when work was scarce, I went full time. And it's been good to me. to say the least. And yeah, I'm a blockchain enthusiast, NFT enthusiast, and yeah, I really believe in the space, and I will keep promoting it until it becomes like legacy finance. And then there's the next thing.
One second, I'm just trying, before we continue, I just want to make sure like we are streaming online, because as much as we've gone live, I don't think that we are completely live on YouTube. So Imelda, are you able to just on your side?
I'm checking it's streaming on my side.
It's streaming.
We are
we
live on YouTube, but we are on
by
a
the wrong
different.
link.
Okay.
Wrong
we are
link.
on a different link.
Okay.
Okay.
If you just go to our YouTube channel, it does say that we are live, but everyone's directed to the previous link, which is not live. So if we could amend that and put that in our chat on the other stream, then we can redirect.
I've done that a couple of times.
Wait, so the link that we have is not the link that is live currently?
Correct.
Yeah.
So which one do I share then? Sorry.
No.
The correct link, I think, is the one you shared on Zoom. On Zoom chat.
Okay, so I don't even, okay, just want to, because there's just people that are waiting, I think.
Yeah.
On the link, and I wish I could have just been told that, because I'm trying to do two things at the same time.
Don't, that's why Imelda is here.
Okay, can that, okay, can that be corrected as we, or do we just, will we have to like restart the whole introduction again for the people?
I think it's been streaming.
Yeah,
Okay.
it's been streaming. So if people
Okay.
need to go back, there's the ability to rewind. So people can take it from there.
All right, no worries. Okay, then sour. Okay, then so let's jump into it. I think a lot of people had the question on the words used in this industry, in this space. I think we can just start, whether we could start high or start low, but I want, maybe this is especially a question towards Kevin and Eugene in regards to somebody who is so fresh in this space. Words that come to mind: cryptocurrency, digital cash, NFT, these words. How can we, how would you approach it? So maybe the words.
I have a very good example of how I explain cryptocurrency to people, and I think it's worked out over the 2 years as I refine. So we'll I should start, right? Okay.
Yeah, please. You didn't take us
okay.
away. Just how would we begin this?
Okay, so now we live in a generation where right now, like, we use WhatsApp, we use Telegram, we use Instagram, we use Facebook, stuff, but these media platforms that are like help us, messaging systems that actually help us connect across each other. And right now we do that in real time. So people know I'm in this, people know I was at home the entire day, people know I bought a new earphone and stuff, right? And that's like in real time. So when I send messages across people and emails, they're in real time. But now the question is, why can't I send money, something available in real time, and actually immediately change value? So I'm going to use Instagram as a good example. Like, how the internet currently works is it duplicates information. There are layers without the jargon, the speeds, blah, blah, blah. If I call that in simple terms, the internet copies information from one location to another. When I upload an image into my Instagram profile account and share with people, when you access it through your phone, you're not accessing the original image. The original image is in my phone, where I actually took the shot. But Instagram got a copy from my phone to their servers. From their servers, get that image as much as possible to anyone's phone who's looking at my image. So if 100 people look at my image at the same time, it's the same image copied 100 times across all the phones. So like in your phone or in anyone's phone, it's a copy of the image copied from the Instagram site to like their phone. That's literally the internet works. Same way when you're looking at a document, same way when you're looking at textual information and so forth. Let's talk about money. If Instagram allowed me to upload money, chance, right? If you opened my account, you'd get money. If somebody opened the account, they'd get the money. If 100 people opened the account, they'd get the money. And if you look at money, one core characteristic of money, it's fungibility of money, meaning that when I have 100 shillings and I give it to you, I lose 100 shillings and you gain 100 shillings. I will never have the 100 shillings again. So technically, the internet is broken and cannot transmit value. No, I'm not just talking about money at all. I'm talking about things that exist once. So, for example, identity. You're the only person who will ever exist that is you, right? So when your identity is being verified online, it needs to be verified only once by you. Your identity should never be duplicated across another person because you are you. There's no one else like you in this planet. Same thing for car, same thing for your title deed, same thing for anything of value that needs to exist once, and when it's exchanged, it goes to the other person completely and never reverses. So blockchain introduced this layer as a technology to enable the internet to finally transmit any form of value that existed in the world. So not only can we now communicate across each other, but now we can transmit real life value and money internet instantly and seamlessly. I mean, there's other layers where we can go and like kind of talk about where censorship resistance, whether it's about the person who is making it liberal to be out of control of the governments. Because like to him, it didn't make sense. I've earned my money, I've made money. Why would the bank stop me from sending them to send it? Right.
Yeah.
So that's like extra technologies that of it actually make it whole. But the core limitation of blockchain is the allowance of transmitting value for the first time ever through the internet. So I can send, if I sell my car, I can send a logbook to the other person. It can be fully verified and so on. And that's exactly what is blockchain and crypto for. Transmission of value, money, or any other NFTs. NFTs is just transmission of unique assets to the internet.
Yeah. Okay. So you've gone into something that is actually unique in a sense. The blockchain. What we see in terms of transmission, what we understand is almost like our identity is being sort of like sealed in some sort. What would you like? How like go in a sense deeper towards explaining how this looks like behind the scenes, perhaps? Because we see it like maybe in real time. Like this is like, okay, I'm sending to you, for example, 100 shillings, but how would you break it down a bit further in regards to understanding, okay, me putting in or buying it for some sense, and then from there, like, how would we develop that?
Like how I like to explore blockchain is like using M-Pesa. I think Kenyans or like just speakers generally built to understand blockchain and cryptocurrencies way faster than anyone in the planet because of our mobile. Like from mobile money, for example, like each and every one of you right now has a unique number that belongs to them, belongs to else. And when you send money across from one phone number to another, from your friend and to their phone, from your phone to your friend's phone, then they do M-Pesa, they have to validate their identity and then get the money, right? So now blockchain works exactly the same way, but completely automated. So first of all is you don't get a phone number. You get a 40-character string, which is complete gibberish, but actually it's identity on the blockchain layer. Now, the second part is now if you have some Bitcoins in that wallet, send it to somebody else. They've given you that gibberish wallet and they've sent it to you. What happens is now, instead of having an M-Pesa agent to validate that you actually have the money and this is your identity and so forth, it is replaced by a computer system called validators. The validators is just pretty much machines that are connected to each other that ensure that you, first of all, you have the money in the first place. Second, the address you're sending to is a valid address. And then after that, it just ensures that once the transmission happens, timestamps the transmission and ensures that that action never be repeated again. Because say
And
if I
that's what
give you
is,
100,
yeah.
if I give, it's like in jargon, it's called the consensus mechanism. It's a consensus layer. But really what it really means is it's just a lot of computers working together to ensure that you do not do the same action twice.
I see. Okay. Now we have to backtrack a little bit because you've gone a little step further. I think there are some people who may have not even understood how they get to the point where they're even able to purchase per se. I think that part is maybe we need to still sort of elaborate a little bit. I'm going to give the floor to Kevin, because Kevin, you have these tutorials online where you explain the step-by-step in terms of being able to acquire or change your currency to be able to purchase this, whether it's Bitcoin or maybe just take us through that initial process of how do I be able to purchase or how do I be able to register as a Bitcoin user or a cryptocurrency user for those who may have no idea how to begin.
Yeah, so like in anything that you want to buy, whether it's a phone, a mattress, you have to go to a market. So when you want to purchase Bitcoin or any crypto, you have to go to the market that has that crypto. So like in Kenya, we have a few options. We have what we call Paxful. We'll have local Bitcoins. Local Bitcoins is the oldest. Actually, one of the oldest ways was a company called BitPesa. That's what I think we used in 2015, but it got frustrated by Safaricom and they left. So local Bitcoin has been one of the most common places of going to purchase crypto. And then recently we have Binance. And personally, I prefer Binance. So basically in a crypto marketplace, or what we call an exchange, and you'll also hear this word being thrown around a lot, P2P, peer-to-peer marketplace. So what basically means is that you are exchanging with another peer. So if you want Bitcoin, so in the market, you'll find someone who has Bitcoin and is ready to accept M-Pesa. So you just go sign up like you sign up in any other website like Facebook, Instagram. Sign up, you'll get a wallet, and you'll see like quotes, like you'll see there's this trader who is selling their Bitcoin and this is the price that they're selling at, and like there's a minimum limit or a maximum limit. Interesting that you could even buy Bitcoin worth 500 shillings or 1,000 shillings or as much as you want, and you'll get like a 0.0001 or 0.004 Bitcoin. And if you don't need to worry about being scammed, you really can't be scammed if you follow the instructions. So the most important thing is just try to follow the instructions. Like there's all these exchanges have what you call escrow service. So escrow essentially means that it's a way to avoid anyone screwing the other up. Like
it's like a middle, it's a safe zone. What you'd say as a safe zone for people who are kind of in the middle of a purchase.
Exactly. It's like a third party who is protecting both parties. So essentially you'll say, oh, I want Bitcoin worth 5,000 shillings. And it will show you the amount of Bitcoin you'll get. Then once you send that M-Pesa to that number for that trader, you'll click somewhere like I have paid. And then the Bitcoins moved to the escrow account. And once this other person confirms they've received the payment, they'll release the Bitcoins to you, and you could now withdraw them, or you could now sell them if you want to sell them. Yeah, and there's a reputation system where you'll see, it's very interesting because these marketplaces are are a source of employment for many, many Kenyans who this is what they do like the entire day. Some of them have volumes of up to 3 million in a day, and you can imagine they're getting very good commissions, and it's like a job for them, and they don't want to spoil their reputation. So as you're going to purchase, you need to look at the profile of the seller, see how many trades they have done. You want to find someone who's done over 100, 300 trades. They have maybe a 99% feedback score. You can read the comments, then you can know this person would not want to scam you out of your transaction. Yeah.
Okay. And just to elaborate, all this, even the people, as you say, profiles, these are all encrypted, right? That's the whole ethos of like, okay.
It's not encrypted because and so some people think crypto is like entirely anonymous, and then when they come to these exchanges and they asked to do KYC, they're like, why? But I thought crypto I can be anonymous and I don't need my name and government ID. But remember, you are interfacing with government money, or what we call fiat money. So as long as you are going to be sending someone money through their bank or through their M-Pesa, there needs to be a way for you to be traced. Like I think in 2017, there was this popular case where some people stole money in Stanbic, and then they cashed out by buying Bitcoins in local Bitcoins. So when the police came to trace the flow of the money, it moved from the bank to where, they saw, they went to these local Bitcoin traders and they were arrested. They went to court, they were released on bail, and I mean, it took them some time to clear their names. That's why even most traders like myself, I don't like doing a trade with someone I don't know. So that's why KYC is important, because we are dealing with government money and you can be arrested. But if I'm sending Ethereum or NFTs in the metaverse, I mean, there's no even identity tied to me, so I can trade with whoever I want. But as long as you're touching government money, you have to be KYC'd.
Okay, so that maybe clears the question where people have been saying, okay, what is the point of the anonymity and how is it that we are still having to be under the which is what we are talking about. I mean, we'll come into this in a little bit, but the whole regulative system whereby we still need to be, we still need what we say, like know your customer in order for these transactions to take place. If we are being completely honest.
Yeah.
Okay then. Well, I guess, well, we can dive into the different sections in regards to, we obviously, there's the part of cryptocurrency, but then we cannot talk about cryptocurrency without talking about NFTs. But I do wanted to kind of touch, especially right now, with the advancements that have been happening in the fintech space and what, Kenya has been experiencing. Like, how do you feel like this is going to like sort of morph in the future? Because there seems to be quite an advancement with fintech, crypto, and how do you feel like that's going to sort of evolve in a couple of years? Because right now it's sort of shooting significantly. Ken, please, maybe because you have been trading for a little bit, and I don't know how I want to hear it from maybe people should hear it from a perspective on a customer base, and how that has your experience so far from the year you began. I'm forgetting that year. I think it was 2011. But yeah.
Well, it was 2015. But well, for me, crypto symbolizes that marriage between these industries that were kind of left by tech and the financial world. So think of things like Internet of Things. I can imagine a future where you can sambaza like some electricity tokens to your neighbor, or you can completely sell your car online without having to meet the person who is interested. So for me, it symbolizes the embedding of trust. We are a social species. So for us to have a technology that literally embeds trust into our systems is that's how I see crypto panning out in the future. Another application I see where crypto might win in the future is also just when you look at our systems here in Africa, you see a lot of corruption, you see a lot of mud in the process, and crypto gives us an opportunity to kind of clean out that whole all these enterprise or governmental institutional processes, and have us live in a world where we don't depend on the next person for trust when you are interacting with financially online. So the systems that will be operating on will already be embedded with trust. So we won't things like corruption, things like petty theft in these systems will be a thing of the past. That's how I see crypto panning out in the future. But to be honest, the applications are immense. I can't even start to speculate on the limits or the extent on how this will affect our lives. So these, even something as simple as tracking vaccines, you know, anything where any process where logistics are involved is going to be immensely helped by this technology.
Well, is that, in your opinion, a positive? I mean, most of it seems positive, and these are the what people would want to hear in regards to the pros and cons of wanting to invest and wanting to, even as crazy as putting all your savings into crypto and saying that this is what I've chosen to do. You know, because we are sort of in this line where we are trying to almost be our own, you know, almost the leaders of our own banks, you know, to per se, like we want to be, you know, the bank kind, like we know that these systems and other systems of credit cards and banks have not really been solely, how do you say, dedicated towards giving us opportunity on transparency and accountability. And cryptocurrency has almost given us that chance to be owners of that space, you know? So I think in many ways, what you're saying is probably what a lot of people are feeling, or probably curious to see if this is in, say, what, 10 years from now, this is what this is more not like just a conversation at the surface. We can be able to do much more. But I think right now we can take this opportunity to like dig deep and understand how these systems work. I think, Eugene, there's something that came to mind in terms, you do a lot of mining at home, but I wanted to understand now these, I want to say, like, I'll just give them the opportunity of just calling it like, it's almost, it's coin, but it's a digital coin. And I think people are curious to understand the inflations, how it works, why there are so many different, you know, currencies in the space, how people are supposed to make a decision, how are we supposed to understand from the outside looking in, what is the best one to do. Maybe let's start from like probably what is like the coin, and like, for example, what is Ethereum, for example, and then go from how these things end up being cost and value. And then, yeah, maybe Kevin, you can start, you can kick us off on that, and then we can just go slowly.
Okay, so in terms of how these digital assets or crypto assets get their value, like, think of the first example is Bitcoin. Like when Bitcoin started in like 2009, so essentially how it started was Satoshi released the software in a certain group, like you can imagine like a WhatsApp group back then, but it was what is called a mailing list. And people downloaded the software and they started like mining the coins on their computer. So initially how Satoshi designed the, okay, we call them the tokenomics, but you can imagine it's like the economics of the coin, yeah. Let's call it tokenomics, yeah. Is
Yeah.
that the people for transactions to be validated, right? There's no Safaricom, there's no a third party in between that is doing the work of validating these transactions. It's a peer-to-peer system of different miners from different geographical locations, speaking different languages. They don't even understand each other, but they're just running this software. So essentially, for transactions to be validated, these miners have to compute some complex mathematical equations. You could imagine like a giant Sudoku puzzle that is really hard to solve. And so the first miner to solve this giant puzzle has validated that the last transactions made in the last 10 minutes are actually valid. And then the miner who solves that problem gets rewarded. So when Bitcoin started, the reward was 50 Bitcoins per, per 10 minutes, right? And then how Satoshi designed this new supply was that this was the method that new coins will enter the market, and then now people could buy them at any marketplace. Then after every 4 years, he designed it that the new supply would reduce by 2, right? And this reduction is very, very important because historically, every time this new supply halves, like divides by 2, like from the move from 50 to 25, that was in 2012, price increased dramatically from at that point. Then the next reduction was in 2016 May, and then it reduced from 25 to 12.5. Again, price increased dramatically. Then the last halving was last year, 2020, around May. Again, Bitcoin was 10K at the time. It's now almost 60K. That's 6x up. So it's just a simple demand and supply economic thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
So we have different coins like Ethereum. Even Ethereum uses the same type of algorithm, which we call proof of work, where miners use their machines, and machines are not cheap. Like some of these data centers these are $1 million projects, yeah. And then paying that electricity every month is also really expensive. So these miners are showing proof of work by doing that. And then now there's other models like a proof of stake. I think Eugene is in a better place to explain proof of stake that are now new, and the early users are rewarded in a different way. So yeah, those are the 2 models.
Oh, thank you so much. Yeah, because I was going to segue onto Eugene, because he's the one who, I believe is mining at home with your machine, which is quite amazing to say the least. But also this is also like technical. I think maybe you'll need to elaborate on how this is working out, and maybe just in the most simplest way for people to understand what you're currently doing at the moment.
Okay, so I have sad news for you. I stopped training 1 or 2 years ago. The reason is what Kevin said. It became expensive for me, a small scale miner, versus competing with large companies. So that became almost impossible for me to actually do.
Okay.
Yes. So I think if I repeat what I just said, it's just like take an M-Pesa agent, computerize the M-Pesa agent, and then you basically created a mining system. If M-Pesa had a way to automate, actually there's a way by them using blockchain, but if M-Pesa had a way to automate validating your identity and also validating that you actually receive or sent the money, then they wouldn't need M-Pesa agents. As bad as it is in the sense of that it took away a lot of jobs, that's exactly like cryptocurrency has done. It's technically like that process of validating identity and validating you having the money and that you sent it to the other person, and the person then they can actually withdraw it. The only difference is cryptocurrency does not need to connect back to payments. Then that is then. Now it's changing. I'm pretty I see a world where we build companies are known creating cryptocurrency back in the world, because the people who created cryptocurrencies are very people, and they foresaw a future where there will be money without the control of the government. And that's pretty much what cryptocurrencies stand, honestly. Like sovereign money. Like in Europe yesterday, they've given like sovereign money, money that is not in control or issued by the government. It's solely given value to the community and people using it. To add on top of that, like, Ethereum, Bitcoin, Bitcoin. If you ever want to think anything about Bitcoin, the core thing to think about Bitcoin is it is there to replace an ancient store of value. What is that currently? Gold. What we need to understand is money is not paper, money is not a rock, a shiny gray, orange, or like yellow rock, or like a silver rock. Money is not metal. Money is what is it called? A beautiful car or so forth. Money is value derived from the brain. You make it is the shared perception of being expensive. Today I was looking at a Louis Vuitton bag that was saying that it's more expensive than the airplane itself. I was like, that person who invented that thing has actually cooked up the idea that it's more expensive and actually I'm a panda bit into your head. Um, so that you can actually feel that Louis Vuitton bag is actually that expensive. In reality, manufacturing that thing is pretty much less than 500 shillings. He's gonna sell it for multi-millions because like he's planted the idea that the value of that bag is more expensive than the airplane. So like any form of value is derived mentally from the mental perception of what you see it is. That's like how literally the world works. So gold is just a shiny yellow rock, and Bitcoin is just mathematical calculations being done online to show that it's money. It's just code, like it's programmable code. But now
I was going to say.
programmable code. But now, what does it value is it like standing for, or what are we supposed to see it? And now, in this sense, it's supposed to replace gold as the store value standard that is for the last probably hundreds and thousands of years. For Ethereum, it's different. Ethereum is built a structure so that every other systems that existed can be digitized in a better and far more open way. So like if you dig deep in Ethereum, there are systems like lending and borrowing protocols, and they're like key point. They're called protocols because no one can actually take them down. The same way like internet we use is governed by underlying layers called protocols. It's the same thing like in the Ethereum ecosystem. Suppose somebody went ahead and created like a digital form of a bank without literally any manager, any teller. You can put in money. You can, for example, the simple ways how bank works is give bank your money. It's called saving. The percentage is called saving. They guarantee you 6% within the year. Somebody's moving with paper. They guarantee you 6% within the year as like you storing your money with the bank, and then they take money, lend it out to other people at 14% interest, and then they take the margin on top. They take that's roughly like 7%. 7-8%. They take 7-8% on top of that. Then at the end, they give back your money and 6% on top. So somebody went forward and created the same exact system, but without a bank manager, without bank tellers, without you being able to call it or like filling forms to you actually take on a loan. You go, you show them your Ethereum, or you give Ethereum, you take maybe 80 or 70% up to that specific Ethereum value, and then you go and do whatever you want to do with it. You can buy back loan, take back your Ethereum with no human intervention. The system works without a human being in sight, and it works 24/7. Never close, never be taken down by any government infrastructure. That's the new system, the new version of what we will see with Ethereum. And now Ethereum can allow you to do more on NFTs, like the presentation of real assets digitally and being able to be exchanged digitally. So like you come to me with an album and show me like the identity of that album. I can use Ethereum to validate that album and tell you this is a real one. This is actually one of the 100 albums given out by Eminem. for example,
Okay.
which was sold out by them. But now,
Well,
if you have a fake one, I can't validate it. So Ethereum is allowing, like it's building this infrastructure to allow all these unique use cases that were not available before, and now made available, and makes the world more connected, tighter, and basically reduce scams and going on around this, like the real world, in a very what they call robust and automated.
Okay, but if say coming back a little bit, you mentioned something which I was going to jump into, like explaining what NFTs, as much as like we understand Bitcoin, what is different between Bitcoin, and now explaining to somebody what an NFT is. What would you elaborate? Like, let's just go back a bit, because I know we just mentioned the word NFTs, but I want people to understand what an NFT is, because that's something that has been buzzing around right now.
Okay, so the entire word NFT is called unfungible token. An unfungible token, I mean, you might think of it like the electricity bill tokens that you usually use to pay, but technically, the token in currency terms means that it is a unique entity. Like it's literally like a 60 character, it's a 50, 60, or like it's a 40 to 60 character string that specifically cannot be replicated at all. Remember that cryptocurrencies, a blockchain is built on top of, where it entirely began from is like decades ago, military grade security systems. So they pretty much borrowed that technology and built and wrapped it into blockchain systems. So this string is string like a average of 40 to 60 characters is just it's coming from the blockchain system, and it's assuring you that it will never be replicated. That string will remain that and very unique, and there will be no other string that looks like ever. And because it's 40 to 60 characters, it means that we have like literally a zillion ways to create those, to create like this a zillion of this string, and none will ever be the same like the other one. Now, once you have that string, you can go and make a real world asset or a digital asset, or like music songs, and imprint that specific string as an identity for that specific object or item, either digital or physical. If it's physical, we usually have serial numbers, so you can actually number phone. There's usually like a serial number usually, or the IMEI represents the unique identity of your phone. So that can be robust online and be allowed to be tradable across different people. So for example, if I sell my phone, I need just to move on the identity of that the main number or the duration phone to the other. So the other person can actually validate that that this specific item belongs to them. And that's pretty much what NFT is. It's just like trying to digitally represent assets that real world assets that have a unique value and can only exist for a number of times and only exist with one person. So for example, if one specific unique album from EZ that only 100 people bought, you and 99 other people should only have that album and should only be able that those albums belong to you. Right now, it's not possible to do that. Right now, it's not possible to do that online. With the introduction of the NFT technology, you're now able to actually do that eventually. Now somebody will just scan like your album, painting, or scan a digital image, music you actually bought. See, oh, actually, it does actually belong to you. That you're the only sovereign owner of that specific item.
Okay. Wow, that's I hope that helps people understand that. I think I also wanted to give Kevin a chance to also elaborate more on this.
Yeah, so so NFTs are fundamentally different from like other crypto assets like Bitcoin and Ethereum, like in the sense that I could give you 0.5 Bitcoin and you give me back your 0.5 Bitcoin, and that transaction is done. Like we are equal. But then when it comes to NFTs, if I send you my NFT and you send me your NFT, they are just going to be different. Like for example, we could have say like recent NFTs that I bought are for robots. I like robots, and so when I found this project that was building some nice animated robots, I was just interested in buying. So as much as there's like 10,000 different robots, all these robots have unique features. Like, is it the eyes? Is it the colors? How they're moving? One has one leg. All these differences. So if I give you my robot NFT and you give me your one robot NFT, they're not equal. And in fact, they can be sold at different prices. So that's the main thing why they are called non-fungible tokens. They don't look like the same as each other. And I think what's really important about the NFT trend is that it's like we have a standard now. We have this formal standard of representing these pieces of art in a way that can be read by different wallets, can be read by different applications, because like the standard we are using is something called like ERC721 or something. So this means that if I have a different wallet here and I have my NFT and I send someone my NFT who's using a different wallet, they might be able to view it, as much as they're using a different wallet. If we go to a marketplace, I could go to a marketplace and this marketplace has NFTs for music, NFTs for digital art, NFTs for can be land. Like we're having like a very interesting project called Decentraland, where this Decentraland is like it's like a virtual world where people buy different places of this land, and you could put your NFTs there and then like kind of sell that piece of land at a more expensive price. So without this standardization of NFTs, like it would be very hard for you to go with all your NFTs in a virtual event. Like you could have like an NBA Top Shot NFT, or you have another NFT for, maybe you could have say an NFT for, an example that I had the other day was say you have an NFT for this celebrity or this really successful person in your industry, and owning that NFTs like allows you to be able to call them at least 1 week for like 15 minutes or so. So I think we'll move from the idea of NFTs just representing scarce objects and art to now having NFTs
like
that have
it's limitless.
Yeah,
like
NFTs
for
that
people
have
looking
utility.
at it.
Exactly.
Yeah, because
like,
I want to understand, and I think a lot of the questions that are coming in, like those the relationship of NFTs and artists, and how this is almost merging. Like I want to understand like what your point of view on how this is being managed, because we are seeing the art there, but there's the behind the scenes of what is really going on in the managing and the understanding of how people almost say in a way cash in, and also how the value is measured based on the different NFTs that are out there. So I don't know, how that also can be elaborated for people to understand better.
I think like different artists, if you're an artist and you have a piece of art, the first thing is to like find out like go to like a platform. We have like a platform called Rarible. We have, so these platforms call it minting. They call it minting, where now you'll go with your NFT, maybe like take a picture of it and then mint it. So the process of minting it is like what associates the NFT with the blockchain, is what now ensures that the uniqueness can be validated by different people just using the by using the blockchain. So an artist could just go there and try it out, like and you could have NFTs. Say an artist who's doing like curio shops, things like curio shops or a different art. You could have it in a way that someone who buys that NFT online, there's something called redeemability of NFTs. Like that person will also be sent the physical item itself, because they already own. And so you normally hear people arguing that why would I buy an NFT of an image, if I can just copy paste it, if you can just download it, yeah. And this example is used here. I mean, if you want to have a portrait of the Mona Lisa, something that looks like the Mona Lisa, you'll definitely get it, yeah. There's like many artists who can paint something that looks like the Mona Lisa, but that doesn't make it the real Mona Lisa, which is hanged somewhere and valued at $2 million. So the idea of copy pasting, it's shallow. It just shows that someone hasn't really known that we are going into the metaverse. Like here already, due to COVID, we have been forced to be on this video Zoom call, etc. And in future, we'll be showing up here maybe with nice avatars, and these avatars are associated with a certain NFTs that you bought like maybe 2-3 years ago. And we'll have a lot of interesting ways of signaling and showing wealth. Like, I mean, people buy Lamborghinis and iPhones as big houses as status symbols. So when now people are not even going outside, and people are not going to the clubs, and people are not going for events, we'll have to take these signaling online. And I think NFTs will be what will be used to signal wealth in the metaverse. Yeah.
Wow. Okay. I'm hoping this is something that people, because this is also have been as we have been saying, a bit of a craze, because everybody has been like, oh, somebody got 68 million from this. And I think now there's been that inflation. Like all of a sudden now everybody's like, I can make money from NFTs, but it's not really, there's no textbook that's actually saying how you can actually do this, and I'm feeling I don't know, maybe other people, and I can see you really giggling in your seat.
To be honest, it's a bit of a learning curve, because even us, to be honest, me and a few of my friends, Eugene, we're normally in some group, we didn't really understand NFTs until like a few months ago. And all we did was we were just seeing NFTs. They don't really understand. People are buying like crypto kitties. People are buying like these cats, like these pictures of cats that you're supposed to breed, and people are buying them for tens of thousands of dollars. You don't understand. There's a project called Uniswap, which was very, very successful, and Uniswap launched what we call Unisocks, which are like NFTs of Uniswaps. And imagine a pair of socks right now, it's like $80,000. That's like 9 million. So you don't get it, but then after a while, that pair of socks like 20 million. You're like, wow, I'd have just made money on a, but you just takes time for you to, a pair of socks.
Those socks were literally $40.
Yes, and we ignored them. We saw them, but we didn't understand.
We looked at it and was like, wait, how is socks unique, man? It's just socks. So like when we went back and check out the socks, they were like $150,000 each. I'm like, how is socks 150? Like each socks is what Range Rover. I'm like, socks, and somebody's going to wear them and wear and tear.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's still a lot of craze. I mean, like we're in 2017.
The initial stages.
Yeah, we're in 27. We call it 2017 for us crypto guys, pretty much. Like we call it 2017 for NFTs, like where everything was just cryptocurrency was being introduced. It just went mayhem, and everything was just up in the air, being thrown everywhere, and so forth. So of course, two things will happen. A bunch of people will make a lot of money, but a lot of people will lose a lot of money, because like a standard has to be produced. It has to be normalized. Like we need to know how, like people need to know, like there has to be a process and a pattern of coming up with NFTs. Platforms need to be shared. So like right now you can buy NFTs from one platform, but I don't think you can even move it from one platform to another one, or like move it off your wallet and so forth. So there's all this confusion happening around. But I mean, the beauty of it is like it's already been discovered. So as Kevin said, we are about to see a very different kind of life and world, where like technology governs ownership or signaling of things in the first place.
Yeah, I think also because there's also that realm of gamers. When every time I think about like when Bitcoin came, I remember also like there's also that time where gamers were also like, what is this? And then now we're also in that space where like artists are like, what is this? And trying to move into that space. But yeah, I want to also as to go into probably not the final part, but something before I open the floor to most of the people, because there are some questions that are coming in that are really important. I want to understand, like, now, just, you know, centralizing it in Kenya and how you guys see this this Kenyans and NFT and how we'll be able to interact with it, because I'm not quite sure if I understood whether it's this, it could be the same wallet with NFTs and crypto, like whether you, like if you had a wallet for like Bitcoin and everything like that, it can be the same if you want to start engaging in NFTs, and whether there will be sort of the merger, and then we can just sort of open the floor towards other questions, specific questions people may have.
Does anybody in particular want to take that?
Ori, I think you should.
All right, yeah. Yeah, thanks for your patience, everybody.
No. We're happy you're here.
But yeah, as far as NFTs go, like you would have a wallet like MetaMask, for example, or Trust Wallet, and you would have your crypto holdings in one space, and then your collectibles, which are your NFTs, in another. It's the same wallet, but they are intrinsically different assets. As I know the panelists described, NFTs are non-fungible, so they're unique. Once you've minted one, it can be traded for a different price. It doesn't need to necessarily be tradable to its equal equity in another coin. But yes, you can hold NFTs on your crypto wallets. And as far as like intrinsic value, it's the same as any collectible, right? What gives the item value is the narrative behind it. The same way a Picasso is worth millions and millions of dollars because of who Picasso was, because he was such a visionary, because he created Cubism and changed the art world. Is the same way that a crypto kitty or a cyberpunk can be valuable because of the story behind it. The fact that crypto kitties were some of the first NFTs ever minted makes them more valuable. Things like, I don't know, people who are into basketball or football, like if you've ever collected those kind of cards, there's a value to the story behind it. You maybe spent your first piggy bank since getting a very rare card, and the story behind that pushes its value. And anybody that is a fan of that same item or that same kind of space will know the value behind it. The way Pokemon cards used to be a child's game, and now people trade them like the physical card for millions of dollars, is the way that NFTs are beginning to take on value. And it's kind of removing the gatekeepers, so to speak, of the art world, the middlemen, the galleries who, the galleries who decide what's valuable. And now it's more democratic in my point of view. It's what the people think it's worth. Of course, there are bubbles, and we're in the middle of a massive NFT bubble. And if at first the demand far outstripped the supply, but now everybody who knows how to use internet connection and basically knows how to use cryptocurrencies is minting them because of the craze and the FOMO, fear of missing out. But at some point, there will be way more supply than demand, and at that point, the price of NFTs will start to go down and possibly crash. But that doesn't mean that they will lose, all NFTs will lose the value. Just like the same way when there's a dip in the economy, the price of certain art is not the same. The same way with inflation, if there's too much money around, then the cost of things go up. But certain things will always be valuable because of the story behind them, because of who made them, and because of who's interested in them. So
yeah,
I hope that answers that question.
Yeah, I think certainly we can see that people will understand the value of certain things. The same way we had the physical value, I think this will be, again, be translated into the digital space. So I'm hoping that will be the future and the understanding as we go along. But yeah, guys, this is the point where sorry.
Yeah, I think it's NFTs they're kind of special in a way because it gives people almost an equal an equal playing ground, where before access to the right people, being born in the right country would determine whether you could sell your art to the right people. I mean, African art has always been around. It's influenced pop culture across the world. It's been appropriated, and it never really gets Africans never get the credit they deserve for a lot of the things that they've invented or inspired. But NFTs kind of change the dynamic with that, because if you have an internet connection and you have a following, then you can generate value. And it's, for African artists, it's like it could be a golden age, a renaissance, because we're a young population, we're adopting the internet fast. And if we can start to define our own narratives, and we have the opportunity to actually put Africa on the map and give it the credit it deserves, and give African artists an opportunity to actually benefit from the value that they create in the world. So yeah, I think it could definitely change the game for a lot of young artists, for a lot of artists who've already been in the game for a while but could never monetize their artwork. Because again, it's like it gives you IP and control of your art. You can use a smart contract to continuously get royalties every time your artwork is sold. It's not like once you sell it to Christie's, your money's gone. Like you got paid and you need to just be quiet about it. This takes out the human element and the human error from the whole situation and puts it in the hands of computers, which I, for one, will always trust over human beings. They're ones and zeros. They cannot be influenced or manipulated. They're not biased. They're not racist. All they care about is the data. And if Africans can learn how to really take advantage of that, then the world is our oyster. And I think a Kenyan artist already launched the first African NFT exhibition 6 days ago. It's on OpenSea. He's a part of the Pika group. And his name is, let's see. I can't quite put, let me see, actually I got his name. Yeah, his name is.
Well, we know that the Kenyan, our Kipchoge's NFT also went for something, although the first NFT for like 30 million, I think. But yeah, you are right. The opportunities here are endless. We just, are, of course, like as Kevin and Eugene will tell us, the government right now, I mean, it's not as accessible yet. We're just hoping that things, especially like now, figuring out the working with banks and this space and how it's almost going to be able to be merged together, and also regulating all of this, because we know for sure there's parts of this world that is quite unregulated, and that is what is also causing this inflation per se. So I feel like there's a lot that like we said, has to be done and has to be explained for people who are still sort of floating, but we hope that we are still unraveling those parts. Right, so I don't know, Ore, did you want to add something? I wanted to open the floor actually, because I can see quite a number of questions coming in. So I hope that's okay. I think there's questions directed to, sorry, 1 second. I think I'm just lagging here a bit. Okay, so somebody asks, question to Eugene. If I wanted to start mining crypto, how do I start? And then how much capital would I need? Wait. I lost it, yeah. Could you build a mining setup for me?
Okay, so I'll just explain from my angle, like what exactly happened. I think I personally quit mining towards the end of 2018 because mining became commercialized. Commercialized in the sense is I couldn't compete with somebody or companies that are actually setting up $10 million farms or even up to $100 million farms. The blockchain technology is set up in a way where, like, if there's too much power or mining power, which is basically proof of work, getting into the system increases the difficulty of you being able to earn that cryptocurrency. So, like, technically, it's like saying if there are so many investor agents, you have to make it way more difficult for you actually to, like, be competitive. And so I had a pretty good machine because the entire cost of the machine was roughly $8,000. I had 1080 Ti's at that stage, which was the highest form of graphic cards. They were doing well when I started out, but towards the end, I was pretty much earning like $100 per day. No, not per day, per month, where it used to be like $2,000 plus. What entirely happened is that, one, as I said, the commercialization of mining, and two is the new outcome of these machines called, what is it called? ASIC miners, ASIC. So ASIC miners is pretty much the only reason why they are ever created is to mine cryptocurrencies. They are technically 100 times more efficient than one graphic card. So
Wow.
I technically believe even right now that there are still ASIC miners that exist, and I think you could start mining. I think usually one ASIC miner goes for between $1,500 to $2,000. They have a lifetime of around 2 to 3 years maximum, because the difficulty keeps increasing. Of course, if more people start mining, the more the difficulty is going up. So I think even right now we are at the highest point of difficulty compared to 2018. Right now, I think I would be losing money through electricity and internet than actually gaining money with my old systems. Graphic cards have also improved. We are in the third generation of graphic cards, which is I think fourth, but technically third in the sense of highest form of graphic cards. So like I had 1080s, though the highest form back then in 2018. Right now we have 3080s. I think with a couple of 3080s, you could actually strike some profit. I don't know exactly how much because I stopped mining and stopped focusing on that. I'll explain now once I finish up because of why I did that. But also, just generally, finding graphic cards right now is like trying to find gold. Like graphic cards used to belong to gamers only, and gamers, it was just a gamers world, and you like the way you
That's what
could
I was going to
floss like a
say.
mobile.
Most of these
Like
people
the
were
way
building their computers from scratch because they were always building computers from scratch. And I was going to ask you whether
I was
most
also
of the times when gamers would actually coincide with mining as much as they're gaming as well.
gamers hate miners. Like I remember when I built my machine, and I mean, like I went to like this gaming convention, they hated me. Like they're like, how the hell do you buy 8 like top end graphic cards just to mine? You're wasting them, according to their perception, right? Also, at the same time, graphic cards used to be available for gamers, and even in the first place, the reason why I was inspired to build all my own machine was that specific, because I used to see gamers build powerful machines. But now mining just changed everything. And like, not only can you even right now mine Ethereum, I'm pretty sure there are a couple of very small altcoins or like small coins that you can actually mine and like make money from right now. So technically the demand of graphic cards has gone through the roof. So gamers are now I think people used to compete with gamers. Now it's opposite. Gamers are now competing with miners for cryptocurrencies to actually get graphic cards. And graphic cards right now, it's just pretty much almost impossible to get. So your best alternative right now is getting ASIC miners. I also think ASIC miners also have very high demand because like everybody wants to mine. So it means I think also they're scarce. I think once they're in production, they run out of stock very fast. So personally, the reason why I stopped mining is I compared the cost of actually buying the machine itself, what I had mined, and how long it took me to break even, and the difference between doing that and actually what happened if I took the $8,000, bought just a bunch of Ethereum and held for 1 year.
Yeah. Okay.
When I did that computation in my mind, one is I actually lost a bunch of money, buying the, what is it called? Buying the cryptocurrency mining system than actually buying Ethereum directly. Right now, it might not be the case unless I recalculate again, but that was the case back then. I would have made a bunch more money, even if, for example, if I bought just $8,000 worth of Ethereum in 2017, or even like mid 2018, or towards the end of the bull market, of the bear market, where like everything was going down, and I bought like $8,000 worth of Ethereum then, I guarantee you at this point in time, it will probably had been $150,000 probably. Would I have mined that much? I doubt. I think I could have mined maybe $50,000, but not as much as like gaining $15,000 directly by just buying cryptocurrency. So that's exactly what I did. I just stopped mining, sold my graphic cards, bought Ethereum directly, and held, and just held it.
Okay.
And so like I actually advise anyone who's trying to mine, do those. I think ASIC miners are way more powerful, and ASIC miners can probably mine more and give you more profit back. But remember, it's like a business. You put in money before, like for example, if you're going to buy like 4 ASIC miners at $2,000, that's $8,000. But that now it means, first of all, you have to mine enough to get your money back, your initial capital, and then now start making profit.
Okay.
So if you're not doing it as like something you depend on to pay rent, to buy food, to like take a few drinks on Friday and so forth, I think that's fine. If you're doing it to actually back up your own living costs and standards, I think that's a huge red flag for me.
Okay then. Well, I hope that answers that. That's a lot of technical.
Yeah, I think you should just mine and hold the coins for like 5 years. Don't even sell them immediately in the market. Just mine, hold them for 5 years. You'll pretty much get your money back and get so much more back than actually selling them directly in the market right now.
Okay. All right. Sawa. So we move on to the next question directed to Kevin. What are the basic do's and don'ts you would share with an amateur trader? Somebody wanting to know, to understand. So let's
one, I'd say there's a big difference between trading and investing. And I find this misconception a lot in many people who come to crypto and Bitcoin, and they think this is like Forex. And
there's that.
There's that, which you don't necessarily have to trade. And the example I use about trading is that would you go and train yourself how to swim for 2 weeks and then go and compete in the Olympics? Like, no, you probably wouldn't do that. So coming to crypto and starting to trade, you need to know who your competitors are. Your competitors are people who are very well capitalized. They'll make a lot of money even if the price just moves by 2%. They are way knowledgeable than you. They have a lot of resources. You can even find a trading firm that has like 7 people, each of them doing different things. And then in crypto, like some of the analysis that is done is not like the analysis of maybe technical analysis in like the way people do it in Forex. Here we have things like what we call on-chain indicators. Like on-chain indicators is like someone is like doing an analysis tracking the Ethereum, like the Ethereum balances on all exchanges. And when they see that these Ethereum balances are reducing, they know that there's less Ethereum on the exchanges, and then they know there is less sell pressure. Or they can be monitoring the wallets of the maybe top 100 Ethereum holders, or top or maybe wallets which are holding more than 100 Bitcoin, and they try to see what are these wallets do. So when you come and start trading with your amateur knowledge, your capital will be chopped. And remember, when you lose 50% of your capital, you need to make 300% or 400% to recover. You don't need to make 50% back. So the losses and the gains you need to recover are asymmetrical, and most people don't understand this early enough. So I'd advise you avoid trading. And even if you really want to trade, because knowing how to trade is also good, because you can be doing maybe 1 or 2 trades in a year. When you get a very good setup, maybe Bitcoin price has gone very low and the indicators are showing Bitcoin price has gone very low. That's when you could come in bigly. So trading is good, but limit it. Don't overtrade. Keep it like 90% of your portfolio is in strong buy and hold, or you're doing things like yield farming. Right now, it's so interesting because you could even
wait. You need
yeah.
to explain to people what is buy and hold, because I think that is another jargon that people may not understand.
Yeah, buy and hold is the strategy that almost everyone in crypto wishes they would have done, like from the first time they entered. So buy and hold is like just coming to the exchange, like local Bitcoins or Binance, buy Bitcoin, buy some Ethereum, put it in a wallet, and just forget about it. You're just holding. And then you could be adding more to this position, and you're saying maybe your plan is to cash out after 5 or 7 years. So buy and hold is that strategy, or you can hold for 1 year or 2 years. But this switching, doing capital rotation, it's good. I've personally made way more money through capital rotation from last year till now. But then you are not even sleeping so well at night. You're up. I'm doing a lot of research all day, Twitter, Discord, wapi. So most new people who are not doing this full time may not be very fast to do all this capital rotation and trading. So just having a good portfolio, well balanced, is better than trading. And if you have to trade, avoid using high leverage.
High leverage, which is high leverage meaning.
So leverage is like a tool that helps you to borrow. Say you come to an exchange and then you think the price of Bitcoin is going to go higher. Like right now we are at 50K. You think price is gonna go to 100K. So, but because you don't have enough US dollars to buy 2 Bitcoins, you borrow half of the US dollars that you need. Say you've come with $50,000, you borrow another $50,000 from the exchange, and now you have 2 Bitcoins instead of 1. So that borrowing is what is called leverage. And then whatever you came with, that 50K is being used as the collateral. So in case the price of Bitcoin drops, like by like more than 50%, then your collateral will not be enough to secure that position. So, and then it will be liquidated, all of it, unless maybe you add more US dollars to lower this lower your liquidation. So you find people trying to do things like 10x leverage, meaning you're borrowing 10 times more money than you have, or 5 times more money, and then prices in crypto tend to drop. I mean, if you've been in crypto long enough, you are used to, today we are green 20% up, then next day 17% down, 10% down, and now you're panicking, you're being liquidated. So it's not even healthy for your mental state to be in that constant state of anxiety. You can't even think long term. You can't research on products, on projects slowly, understanding how they work, asking questions in their Discord groups, because you're just looking at the charts. You're just stuck at the charts, looking at the price. It's very, very unhealthy. So yeah, I mean, if you are starting crypto today, try to understand the narratives that are happening, understand Bitcoin, understand Ethereum, what does it do, the basics, just the basics of the main narratives, NFTs. Listen to 1 or 2 podcasts, go to look for a few articles, understand what is DeFi, understand what is yield farming, then start participating little by little. Like, I'll tell you one thing that I myself and Eugene have experienced, like since like last year, September. Like I think like both of us have gotten like over 2 million for free just by participating in some networks, which they're called airdrops. So airdrops is like the first airdrop we got was called Uniswap. So Uniswap was just rewarding anyone who had used Uniswap, and we were being given like 400 tokens each. Right now, 1 token for Uniswap is like $40, and we were being given
$40.
Yeah, so that's like 1.6.
400.
That's like, yeah, that's like 1.7 million for free if you didn't sell at the time, but most of us sold. Then
That's one wallet actually.
and that's one wallet. Some of us had 2 or 3 wallets. So if you are busy trading and looking at charts, you would not have the time to participate in Uniswap and many other things that we've participated in. At times, maybe a requirement for the people who are given an airdrop is like you need to have voted on a certain proposal. So everyone who just voted on that, on any proposal of a platform, gets rewarded like maybe $5,000. And it's up to, you're given tokens worth $5,000. Decide, are you going to like, right now one of my bags that I'm holding is a coin called COP, and we were given 2,000 COP each. Right now each COP is like $5, so that's like that's like $10,000 for free, for just maybe
$1,000, which is
yeah, like so crypto, there's many opportunities if you like do immerse yourself, research a bit beyond the normal buy and hold. And yeah.
Wow.
Yeah,
Okay.
I saw like we've got like so many crazy airdrops out of just doing some stupid stuff like on crypto. You just like you're trying out stuff even with like $10, $20, even $100, and then you just like you get like some bunch of cash and you're like, why? Like, where is it from? Like I think there's one I remember there's one I got like last week. I took like $500 and deposited somewhere for 4 years. I just locked it up for 4 years. I was like, let me lose this money, right? And then like some project came out which was like in support of that specific project, or you actually lock your money for 3 years, and they're like, oh, we're technically giving 10,000 tokens to anyone who's actually locked up their money in this specific system. Then you go and look at the value of the money, you look at it, like it's $3. $3, you look at tokens, that's $30,000. You're like, what the fuck? Like, whoa, like, wow, like, whoa. And so you did something just like you didn't even know, like, you're just trying out things. You're just trying out stuff. And we've had a bunch of those with Kevin, man. Like it's just like the thing.
You got 1 inch. You
like
got
a
1
world
inch
you really want to explore.
On the eve of Christmas.
Yeah. Also, like,
$1,000.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the one I got like $8,000 for free from using some system that I didn't even remember I used like 6 months ago, and I just went and bought a bike straight with it. Like I think DeFi is the gift. It's the gift DeFi, like decentralized finance, and especially right now, I think it's right now. I mean, before that, it was pretty hard to use actually. Like the problem is like like we are from ghetto, most of us, like like you're struggling through, okay, not all of us, but most of us, so you're struggling through life to actually get through this. And so like there's certain mental perceptions as an African that you have about money, and unless you completely unlearn them, then you won't venture into these opportunities. Like I remember like doing that cost, like I remember like using Uniswap was expensive. It used to cost, like, for example, it used to cost like $20 to do one transaction. And that's like 2,000 bob. You're like, man, that's like 2 gin bottles and like a few sodas here and there, and like we party the hell out of it, right? But now you go and sacrifice that amount of money, you spend like, you end up like losing like 6,000 bob, which is like $60, and you feel like shit kinda, but you still feel happy because you've learned a couple of other things that people don't know, right? And then like later on, 6 months, 7 months down the line, a project comes and says, hey, you did this, take this like at $10,000. You're like, oh shit, this thing actually pays off. I mean, from foresight you wouldn't say it, but from hindsight you'd say it. There are places like the places that have had to spend like so much money, and if I locked my mind and not to spend them, I wouldn't get like these like gifts or like airdrops from these systems. So I really think
the gift that keeps on giving, as they like.
Yeah. But you see, the thing is like you kind of have to use it. Like that's the thing. Like you have to use the systems. You have to explore them. You have to open your mind to actually like take in this. Like you have to sacrifice. I mean, like it took me years to understand. I used to hear it in rap songs, like things like, for example, like in McMill, like scared money doesn't make no money, or like what is it called? The other one I think you hear all the time. You have to use money to make money, right? I kept hearing that thing. It only sunk in when I started like delving deep into like this. And I'm not saying it specifically in cryptocurrencies, but just generally applying to life. You have to use money to make money. And so if you have that fear of spending, or like maybe, for example, taking a loan, a big loan and starting a business, you won't see the benefits of it. Sometimes it goes wrong. It's just life. Shit happens. But if it happens, I mean, nothing bad is entirely bad. Like bad things also have a ton of lessons behind them, even compared to good lessons actually. And
Okay.
so like the more you learn about like from your mistakes, the more you learn about this, you become a better person. You become just more experienced as a person generally. And even like it's the reason why you guys have us in this call. Like we've messed up a lot to actually just
I
end
can
up in this
imagine.
position to share all this.
I mean, I wish there was a way to show this kind of like trial and error, because now we're in the digital space. It's almost like I wish there was a
Yeah,
like,
exactly.
this didn't work, so don't use this. This kind of didn't work. Put this X, Y, Z. But we can only speak about it.
And in fact, Nyashomba, now in relation to that, it's so interesting because if I because the blockchains are transparent and all the transactions are there, if I just give you like my main Ethereum address, you could like, it can be studied, like all the
For
trades
real?
that I've done.
Okay, so this is good news for the people that are online to actually sit to understand this concept, because maybe
when you entered, okay, it's a bit hard to decipher because you're in the like the blockchain explorer, but I think in the future, like people like us, like maybe when you're looking for a job at a place or a consulting gig for something, I think they'll just be asking you, okay, give us your Ethereum address, and then they can see all the all the mess ups that you did, the projects that you were early in. Were you able to buy low? Were you able to sell high? Where did you take the funds the profits after that? I mean, it can all be illustrated in a graph.
Illustrated for you to see. Okay,
yeah, and it can give you a score of, okay,
yes,
this is 9.8, this is a 5.7, this is it's
bas, and then they give you your overall score, and that way people are like, okay, can I trade with Kevin? Can I trade with you?
Or it's used as
exactly.
criteria is used as the criteria for buying or getting a certain NFT, and then now people
people judge you on that.
Classified based on the NFTs.
Yeah, this is looking like an episode of Nosedive in Black Mirror. People are going to be judging you from the numbers on the screen. But before we go into that, I wanted actually to ask. Specifically, this question actually kind of gave me the gist of Ken on answering this. Somebody actually asked us. This is jumping the gun a little bit, but somebody asked, how can we apply the concepts of cryptography and blockchain to electoral processes here in Kenya and having finally a free and fair election? Somebody asked, I think the reason I thought about you is because you're a trader. So almost all of us are voters, whatever, but I don't know. I just figured this is kind of up your alley. So maybe you can give us your 2 cents on this.
Yeah, I think we're also a bit limiting the whole crypto world when we just limit it to cryptocurrency, the conversation to cryptocurrency, because to be fair to this whole technology, it applies in so many fields, so many industries that we haven't even touched on today. And the electoral process is a perfect example of that. For one, that whole idea of having something that is non-fungible, that is the very definition of what a vote is. You don't want a vote to be able to be duplicated. You want a vote to be anonymous. So all these good things that we're talking about with crypto, where you're anonymous and your transaction is secure and you can't copy the transaction. All these are perfectly applicable in the electoral process. And like I said in the beginning, this is a technology that has the potential of wiping out something like corruption totally.
Yeah, you had actually said that, which this is why I was like remembering you, because we are still, this is still something we are battling with. currently we are going into an election year next year. So imagine if we decided that this is the route we wanted to take. What would what do you see of that coming about?
I've read of universities writing blockchain protocols to handle their electoral processes inside their unis. Although that's a small scale version of what an electoral process for a country will look like, but they're already working proofs, of this technology, small scale albeit, but I can definitely see a future where you don't have to panga a long line to vote. It's something that you can do on your phone, and it's not that the data is properly logged in. Your identity isn't compromised, your security isn't compromised, and it's all the trust is within the system, so that we don't have to have like post-election skirmishes like we've experienced before. So I definitely think that that's a perfect non-financial application for not just because also this crypto thing blockchain is just one of the protocols that is involved in crypto. You're seeing other platforms come up with different methods of basically doing the same thing, having a distributed ledger technology. I've seen, for example, one of the coins that has most of my money right now is called Hashgraph, HBAR, and
would you like to tell people what that is? Like maybe people who have never heard about that, like maybe
yeah, so HBAR is a coin that is made from this company called Hedera Hashgraph, and I learned about them when I was so my journey with crypto started when I made a conscious decision to start learning about the history of money, because I devoted a good chunk of my time to making money, so I wanted to have the basics. And I stumbled onto this channel that had a very comprehensive course on how money has evolved through time. It's by this white guy who made his money, and he just devoted the rest of his time to educate people. His name is Mike Maloney. But yeah, he has this comprehensive series called The History of Money, and it details how money evolved from like cowrie shells to tulips, to all the way to gold, and getting off the gold standard and going into fiat. And according to him, the next step was blockchain, and then subsequent versions of DLTs, which are distributed ledger technologies. And the one that he had his eye on at the time was called Hedera Hashgraph, where they do this, they do what blockchain does with mining, but they do it with just computers in a network talking to each other, where you don't have to mine. All they do is they gather small bits of information from each computer in that network that tell the network who are the last two people the computer talked to, and they display a small fraction of the information that was shared between those computers, and that's enough to kind of give a whole lineage of the history of transactions throughout that network. And it's less harmful on the environment than Bitcoin, where you have to buy these huge infrastructural computers to solve this complex math problem to enter one transaction into the ledger. And yeah, so they do that just the same way you can validate a WhatsApp message. It's a bit more,
the encryption.
Not the validation of an entry into the ledger. It's much simpler on their platform. It doesn't take any extra computer power than you would use on WhatsApp, for example. And
okay.
they are much faster than blockchain. Like they're much faster than Bitcoin and Ethereum. They clock in at 10,000 transactions per second at the moment right now, where Bitcoin is around 5 transactions per second. And
yeah, that's
but
also another thing people. Sorry.
Sorry.
Yeah, no, that's sometimes people have to also understand the why the transaction, why it takes so long. Like people may not be aware that this is also the reason for its efficiency is also the time it takes for this chains to sort of be created behind the scenes.
And,
but
and it's also not that simple, because like Bitcoin has to be purposefully slowed down for it not to fork into different Bitcoins. Because like a situation that is possible is 2 computers solve the problem at the same time. Then what happens? Then they have to, I guess, fork into different chains. But
yeah,
they handle that with a simple but very clever protocol that already works online. And they patented it though. But what they're trying to do is they're trying to capture capture enterprises first before they go into the public, and I guess that's why they're not well known. But that's one example of a of a cryptocurrency that is not even on blockchain. It's the technology they use is called Hashgraph.
oh, okay.
Yeah, so there are different versions of these protocols that enter entries into these distributed ledger systems.
Okay. All right. Well, I hope this, I mean, people might ask you why you decided to choose this. I guess it's for that reason, for that reason of that technology, right? Or would you say there's something else like that is backing your decision onto taking on that route?
Well, my main criteria for picking a coin that I'll put my money in is whether its technology can pan out over time, like the next 5-10 years. So me, with seeing their approach, seeing that they didn't try to raise money first. What they tried to do is they tried to prove their use case to enterprises, already existing international companies that can use their technology to their benefit. That's where they try to win first. And just seeing how they approached that whole, because other blockchains, how they're doing it is they sell out to the public first, raise that capital, cash in, and then you all of a sudden you see the value is dumped, and you bought in and you thought you're getting into a winning coin, and
Streak.
You're there with your losses. Yeah. So
okay.
Seeing how they approached their whole entry into the market gave me so much confidence, because also seeing the people who engineered the coin, they have reputable histories. I think one of them was a leading founder in Microsoft or something like that. And
okay.
Yeah, so when I see serious things, like serious attempts like that at getting into the market without fumbling, that gives me more confidence than something like Dogecoin, where it's pure hype.
But that is what we also we are seeing today. We're getting to the root of today, is that hype. What is causing people to run to that hype, and that is what is also causing the value to increase,
People want fast money.
Fast money, man. Okay. Well, thank you so much for that, Ken. I appreciate that. So we're going deep, because people want to also go into a space where they want to understand the best way to secure private keys and secret phrases And I think this is a question that I think Ore would like to tackle on a little bit. Sorry. Okay. One second.
I can take this one.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I think.
Can you guys hear me?
Yeah, we can.
All right, perfect. Okay. So yeah, it's a very good question. I mean, before when I was getting into this, I was like, people get hacked all the time. How can you be secure online when there's people who can phish your private information and get into your email address and so on and so forth? So yeah, it's a question I asked myself a lot, and there's like a couple ways that you can secure it. There's like low tech, and then there's high tech ways of doing it. I mean, if you're comfortable using technology, then I would suggest use a hardware wallet. And for people who don't know what a hardware wallet is, it's a USB. It's like a USB drive, but specifically designed to hold these encryption keys. And yeah, as long as if you trust yourself not to lose that, if you lose your USBs all the time, don't do this. You'll literally be screwing yourself. And that's like a high tech way. But some of the simpler basic stuff is just never keep your private keys online. Don't save it in your drive. Don't save it in anything that's attached to the cloud, because unless you're constantly changing the passwords on your email addresses and stuff, and you do have a large enough holdings, someone can crack it and get in there. So yeah, store private keys in encrypted storage devices if you're into the high-tech storage. However, if you're like me and you're a little bit untrusting and you're not sure what could happen and you might lose something like that, then I would go low-tech. Tried and tested piece of paper. Write it down on a piece of paper and store that piece of paper somewhere secure, whether it's a safe, whether it's a hiding place in your house, or somewhere where you know you're gonna not lose it and where it's not gonna get destroyed. Paper can easily be destroyed. Some people engrave it on stainless steel. It's a bit fancy. Not everybody has the time or means to do so. But yeah, you can also use paper, stainless steel. People engrave it on wood. Some people even encrypt their own private keys, so that even if someone did see it, they wouldn't be able to understand it. But you just have to always know the key to your own encryption. Otherwise, again, you'll lose all your holdings. And just don't make silly mistakes. Don't take screenshots of your private keys. And just be careful. Really memorize it if you can. If you're one of those people who has a good memory, memorize it and let that be the end of it. But then again, you have to be like confident and secure in your memory if you're going to do that.
Okay, thank you so much, Ore, for that. I hope that people gather that and be able to take that, especially for the newbies that are here. I feel like there's a lot of newbies in this space, so definitely that's the best word of advice. So as we are wrapping up, there's something that I feel like as we continue to understand, okay, this is the space that we are going to be in. Definitely it's here with us to stay. I just want to understand what each of us are feeling about the future and whether this seems to be 20, 30 years from now, do we see the elimination of banks or credit card companies completely, or finding a way in which we are going to work with them? Because at the end of the day, people still need to cash in physical money. I don't know if that is just something that is going to be with us, or we see it completely, the crypto space completely taking over, and there being that sort of decentralization. I think this is probably something that has been lingering in all of our minds. Maybe we can just take a minute, maybe Kevin, walk us through this, and as we wrap up this conversation soon enough. But take us through.
Okay. Um, how I think about like first of all, Bitcoin on its own is that for the last like 5,000 years, humans have been like the hardest way of storing money. Like by hard, I mean the best way, like a way where you're not going to be inflated away. So the most stable way has been gold for thousands of years. And now it's reached a point where now we have to transition to a better type of gold, which is Bitcoin. So yeah, personally, I think like in the next 10, 20 years, okay, if you look at the value of all the gold, like above the surface of the earth, I think it's valued at $10 trillion. And Bitcoin is currently valued at $1 trillion now, or 1.2. So I think we'll continue having this growth and boom and bust cycles until Bitcoin surpasses the value of gold. And because gold, I mean, the value of gold would have been way much higher if it had more utility. So now I'd be thinking if Bitcoin reaches something like to reach gold is 10 trillion. So that's like a 10x from here. So 50K to like 500K. And then because of these new being used as collateral, being used as being able to be transacted worldwide anytime, will give it more utility. And that would take it maybe to like $50 trillion. So I think we have like another 50x to go up from here. And then once Bitcoin is like the dominant store of value, and then we have like Ethereum, like I think banks will still exist, but they will exist as applications built on top of network on blockchains like Ethereum. Because right now
That's
we have
what I was going to say. Oh, okay.
They'll because like on Ethereum right now we have money markets. Yeah, we have somewhere where you can go deposit
money.
deposit your crypto as collateral and just collect interest or borrow against that collateral. So we already have such things, and these are things which are only done by investment banks. So banks will start now bringing some of their capital on top of the blockchain, because the infrastructure is totally outdated. Like it can't compete with whatever is being built on these things like Ethereum, Solana. We have like multiple even blockchains which can be specific for everything. So you can have a blockchain that is only specific for NFTs. You could have a blockchain that's specific for financial applications. You could have a blockchain like Bitcoin that is more specific for store of value. Like these are maybe big banks, big companies like Tesla. They don't want fancy things like fancy things like what's happening on Ethereum. They know they own like 30,000 Bitcoins, and they know there's a maximum of 21 million Bitcoins. They just want to have that surety that whatever they have, they cannot be diluted away. So banks will still exist, but they'll change form. They'll have fewer employees. We won't need tellers. We won't need investment managers, because if you can just go and look at the Bitcoin chart from 2012 and just see it's been going up all the time, you don't need someone to advise you further on how you're supposed to be. You don't need an investment banker to like advise you on how to invest. You don't need like a broker or a lawyer to help you buy land or do all these things. You just go to local Bitcoins and you go buy like Bitcoin worth 1 million or 3 million shillings and just put it in a wallet and you store. And that's gonna be a way of investing. So all these people that are existing on the current financial services will have to find a way to come into the blockchain world. And you see companies even like Visa recently partnered with this stable coin called USDC. So USDC is a stable coin. Like it's paired 1-to-1 to the dollar. And if you're seeing we are seeing fintech companies, because Visa is a fintech company. It's like just a large fintech company. And you're seeing them now saying that they'll they'll start using USDC for settlement on their layer, on the infrastructure. So I just see a lot of fintech companies starting to use the crypto infrastructure as a background, because when you come to crypto, you don't have to think about, I need a server, I need storage, or I need whatever. You just come with your idea, with your developer, and you create your idea on top of the Ethereum and now compete for users. So the game will change a bit. Yeah, that's kind of what I think.
Okay. Thank you. I hope that kind of answers that question, because I think a lot of the question is how we're going to see the merger of all this coming together and whether it's all going to make sense in the end. But as that comes,
Could I add one second to that?
Yeah. I think so. I think we have.
Okay, I'll try and make it quick. Just to like reiterate a lot of what Kevin said, I think, yeah, Bitcoin and cryptocurrencies in general are definitely here to stay. And I mean, before like the central banks and the big banking conglomerates and even venture capitalist firms weren't really threatened by cryptocurrency because they felt like its adoption was never going to be that big. They thought it would always stay niche and all of that. But then the corona pandemic kind of created like a shift in consciousness. And also just the last 10 or 15 years of crashes and financial crises that have been going on across the world, an unprecedented amount of like fiat currencies being printed every quarter by governments around the world to bail out businesses and the banks themselves. And fiat currencies and paper money isn't that new of an invention. I mean, 500-600 years ago, everyone was still using mostly gold coins. And it wasn't until the French government like went bankrupt for the third time after like the Napoleonic Wars that someone came up with paper money, because it was a way to get equity out of your population without actually having the resources you needed to kickstart it. So now we're in like another point in time where people are starting to lose faith in fiat currencies because people can't just keep printing money endlessly and expect there to be no consequence. There's going to be inflation, and that inflation is felt in like every day-to-day service, from like education and healthcare, the price of fuel, the price of food. So your $1 doesn't go as far as it used to 20 years ago. And with most countries not tying their currencies to a gold standard anymore, they can just keep printing money until it becomes unsustainable. So with that juxtaposition, there's like cryptocurrencies and digital assets provide like a solution to that. They are becoming almost an alternative to fiat currencies. And because of just like the nature of society and how democracy is like around the world, and people's understanding of it is changing, people are no longer comfortable with their money being held by the government, because governments don't always make the right choices, as we all know. So more and more people are starting to look to cryptocurrencies as a store of value, because unlike fiat currencies, which is just in God we trust, or in this nation we trust, it's based off of a proof of work, off of something that's measurable and tangible, and something that isn't biased and isn't going to change with a certain policy or because of a decision made in a small room by a bunch of old men who's probably won't even see the effects of their choices. So for that reason, I'm not sure if fiat currency will ever disappear completely, because the countries would have to start to disappear. But I think it more and more is going to become an alternative and become more mainstream.
Okay. So definitely we see there being almost, what do you say? We were talking about the merger, but we're also talking almost handshake of this world, making it through lots of changes and regulations and probably policies in order for everybody's standpoint to be heard and seen. If I hear you correctly, if I understand that you see it not completely disappearing, but being there to accommodate nations or countries that are not able to completely accept and assimilate to the cryptocurrency world. Yeah, okay.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, somebody's still pointing out something towards still and still almost like advice or what you'd be giving someone on working on an online art gallery to give into NFTs too, and how one would get into that. I think, yeah.
Okay, yeah, I'll try and make it as quick as possible. Yes, I think if you're already working in the online gallery space,
yeah,
then understanding NFTs and starting to utilize them is definitely a smart move. I mean, NFTs, they give your artists agency in a way that they've never had before. It also gives them access. Before, where if you wanted to get your art seen by the best collectors in the world, you would have to have a connection at a big gallery or auction house. You'd probably have to pay some money underhand or make a donation to somebody or grease some palms. There's so many gatekeepers preventing a lot of small galleries and up and coming artists from actually breaking through without getting, so to speak, the nod from the powers that be in the art world. And what NFTs essentially do is they remove the gatekeeper. They remove the snobbishness and the glass ceiling that's always existed in art, and they flatten the playing field. Because once you've minted your NFT and you put it on OpenSea, anybody can see it. Where you'd have to be careful is knowing where your niche is and making sure that the NFTs you print aren't just FOMO. They're not just, they have to have some intrinsic value behind them beyond just the fact that they're NFTs. If you have to build the narrative of your artists. In fact, the narrative behind your artists and your gallery becomes almost more important than the artwork itself. For example, like Beeple, the guy who was breaking news and smashing like records and selling his work for more than anybody had previously done, was only able to do that because he built a following up for 20 years. The piece he sold for $69 million was called Every Day, and it was a JPEG of a piece of art that he created every day over, I think, a 20-year period. And that in itself, that narrative is what kind of created the value for it. And it wasn't bought by some billionaire or some heiress who's had money in their family for hundreds of years. It was bought by a crypto native. It was bought by someone who'd made all their money in cryptocurrency and valued digital artwork. The same way, if you were an African in the online gallery space, you would need to find people who want to support African art and your vision and your story. And if you can do that, then NFTs are definitely the way to go. Plus, royalties and a lot of the gray areas in artwork or in art dealing that are quite messy and made even more messy by the fact that human beings are involved in them gets removed when you do NFTs. You can use a smart contract and allocate a certain percentage of your royalties. So every time your art is sold, you make that money regardless. And the more it's sold for, the more you make. So it becomes like a motivation that's intrinsic rather than based off of the goodwill of people who you barely know and who probably don't care. It also gives Africans a chance to just elevate African art in a way that we never had before, and to take a slice of the pie, really, that before was just not available to us. I mean, European art American art, Asian art has a value to it that most realistically before NFTs was just impossible. But now, with enough people behind a certain for supporting African art, we could sell our artwork at the same price as any European artist. And it's just all about the community and the story behind the artwork. And I feel like that really is a game changer. So I would definitely recommend it. And if you wanted to get into it, it's easy. It's as easy as opening a Rarible account or an OpenSea account and create a collection on those accounts. But then also you need to have an Instagram following. You need to be active on Twitter, on all the platforms. And the same way you would build an Instagram following or a Twitter following, you would build a rep behind your art. You would associate with other galleries and other famous artists and art critics. And through that, you could build value for your artwork, for your artists, and for the culture in general. And I think that's what's so powerful about it. If Kanye West bought a piece and he sold that piece to Jay-Z, and Jay-Z sold that piece to, I don't know, to Bill Gates, that's how you build value for your art. And before, you would need to know Jay-Z or Kanye West or Bill Gates to get in that door. And now you don't need to. You just need to have something of value and have a strong enough story behind it.
Okay. The story is as important as it surely gets. But thank you, Ore, because I hope that that helps people that are really, especially for the artists that are, like I said, who are so in the craze and interested in understanding what all of NFTs are doing right now and the world around it. I hope that that kind of helps them understand it a little bit better. But we are only, like I said, like these discussions, again, only sometimes scratch the surface. We just hope that we'll be able to continue to go deeper even post this session. And I hope that people will, you know, reach out, and even I'm sure in the comment section, which I'm not able to see right now, there's a big discussion that's going around, and people will it'll help in a way. But as good things have to.
Oh yeah, by the way, I'm actually starting. I'm actually like, sorry, one more thing. I'm actually building an African NFT gallery space for any artists that are interested. And yeah, I'm looking for artists to collaborate with. I'm looking for angel investors, and we're trying to create a space where we pull down the barriers of entry. A lot of people don't know how to make these because of gas fees on Ethereum. It's quite expensive. So we're trying to create a platform that tears down those barriers and kind of makes it even more accessible than it already is. So if anybody
what's the name? What's the name?
What's the name? Because people should know this so that they just hop on and get it.
Still in early stages, so I'll post the name and stuff.
Do you mind sharing what platform you're using
we can have discussions?
What's the platform you're using to do this, or that's still to be decided?
I'm using like 2 different platforms. I'm using OpenSea and Rarible at the moment. Yeah, I'm using OpenSea and Rarible at the moment, but we're actually in the future hoping to develop our own platform with its own token, and we have a plan to make it free and do lots of airdrops to help promote it. But yeah, more information coming soon.
That's awesome.
That's amazing. That's amazing. That's good to know. And this is all happening in East Africa. So we are starting this off in a high note.
Yeah, we're the cradle of civilization and of humanity.
The pearl
so
of
why
Africa. Okay, so thank you so much, Ore. I think right now I want to really because we have gone a little bit over time, but I anticipated this. But I would like to just thank everybody who has been on the call, everybody on the comment section, all the questions. Thank you so much. This has been amazing. But now I would love to hand it over to my partner, Lindsay Obath, who is going to take us away.
Right, guys, thank you so much for attending our 38th session. It's been very interesting. I've really enjoyed listening to everyone, and especially the chat on YouTube. You guys are awesome. And for the few of you that are still with us, thank you for staying and getting involved. We cannot do this without engagement, and your engagement means everything to us. We'd like to thank more specifically our panel, Ore, Ken, Kevin, Eugene. Thank you so much for your time. You guys have been superstars. And I would really like to encourage you guys, especially as you give your closing remarks, each of you, because I'm gonna ask you guys to say like one sentence to like sign off. Let people know where to find you and the projects that you're working on, if at all you have any, as well as plug yourself, plug what you're doing, plug your hustle. I think we're all so diverse, and that's what makes us such interesting people, because I think in this economy you also can't survive on just one stream of income. So plug as much as you can. And as we sign off, I'd like to encourage everyone to follow us on all of our social media platforms. We are at freemindsessions.ke on Instagram. We are also Free Mind Sessions on Facebook, Free Mind Sessions on YouTube. If you haven't subscribed to our channel, stop being a hypocrite. Kidding. But yes, please, I'd like to encourage all of you to please subscribe to our content. We do host our sessions every last Thursday of the month. We have been running for almost 4 years now. I think 2021 marks our 4th year. And we have been running strong. So we'd like to encourage you guys to join our community. We base our sessions off of 4 pillars. This pillar that we have explored today is our Biashara pillar, where we talk all things money, investment, and our relationships with money. Our other pillars include our creative sessions, where we talk about the creative industry and the roles that we play, what's happening, and what important issues we need to discuss. Our other pillar is our social pillar, where we talk about social issues, things like mental health, gender identity, sex, and all of that, even things to do with civics, elections, all those topics that are a bit sensitive. We open up a space that is free for you to say what you need to say, and also within a respectable and safe place. Once in a while, we like to break that down because it's a very layered and very, what's the word? Very, very heavy, heavy topics. We like to wind down with a miscellaneous session where we do a quiz night or an open mic. How we'll incorporate that in our virtual sessions, I guess you'll have to wait and see, because we're kind of trying to figure that out as well. But I'm sure it'll be fun and interactive. So our next session is on the 27th of May. 27th of May. Y'all better write that down somewhere. The 27th of May, and we will be talking about, we'll be within our social pillar, talking about the wellness industry. So pretty much everything that comes from the wellness industry, from from therapy to wellness programs to different practices people are using within the industry. How authentic is our industry here? How are we regulating this industry? Because everyone can just call themselves a wellness coach and really lie to you about things. So we're really exploring that, and we'll have key speakers as well. There'll be a lot to discuss on that one as well. Before I ramble too long, I'd like to open the floor to Ore, Jean, Kevin, and Ken to say one last parting shot, and we will wrap up our session. I'll start with Ore. Or your mic is muted.
Yeah, all right. Can you guys hear me? All right. Can you guys hear me? Yeah, I would just say that cryptocurrency it's not for everybody. But it's like the dot-com boom in the 2000s. Say that cryptocurrency, and if you get in early, it's not for everybody. Can really benefit, and it can if it can create life-changing. It's like generational dot-com boom in the 2000s. But you can also lose your own money.
All right.
And if you get in early,
all right, if you don't mind me stopping you there for a second.
Like generational wealth for you. But you can also lose your own money.
But I'm sure all right, two of your devices. 27th of May. Y'all better write that down somewhere. Are playing. The 27th, and someone has their mic on and talking about as the playback is happening. Within our
yeah, my bad. There's like a crossover.
Talking about the also someone has the live stream. So whoever that is, please mute that. Pretty much everything that I can hear myself from 2 minutes ago. Ooh, industry.
I think someone has their YouTube stream on.
I think whoever that person is has paused it because I'm no longer hearing myself from the past. So all right. I hate to ask you to just say that again.
No problem. I think I was pretty much the cause of that confusion, so I think it's only fair. But yeah, so what I would say is like, yes, cryptocurrencies it's the next frontier in tech, and it's like a huge opportunity for young people and anybody that's looking to make like life-changing generational wealth for themselves. You just have to be careful and be smart and be safe with the way you trade and never use money that you can't afford to lose.
All right, thank you, Ore. Next we'll have Eugene.
See, I'm treating in the sense like I think currency for everyone. In the sense of like most of us locked out from wealth generation of years and years. Cryptocurrency opened that space. I remember the reason why I got cryptocurrency was because I wanted to buy shares stocks for Safaricom, but there was an entire process around it. And I tried to buy. Nobody asked me for D, nobody asked me for my details. I just got the Bitcoin directly. And apparently at that point in time that government money was produced versus Bitcoin, which took once, and it's a deflationary value asset in the sense that more and more money gets in circulation, Bitcoin itself actually increases in price. And then the world has completely floored cryptocurrencies to enable decentralized finance where I can interact with financial platforms without one showing my identity, two unless I bridge what is it called through like a centralized system like Binance and so forth. But if I actually do it completely offline to the point where like I just get into my wallet and never really show up my identity, nobody asks me what I'm buying, and once I have it, I can play around with these questions, charge, Getman, Gateway. There's nothing stopping me to actually make money or money. So believe cryptocurrencies is for the masses, is it being for the rich people. I mean, rich people will still benefit from it. The biggest benefiters are just not people like us. Like generally, it's since I started, it's changed how I think, and also it's generally changed life in general. You can see I have a Christmas tree behind me. It's like Christmas every day. Um, literally, right? I've never taken down a Christmas tree. We just said it's gonna be Christmas every day. And yeah, so it's one of the, it will be, and it is still one of the largest wealth creators in the world that has ever existed for decades and centuries. I think there's still a lot to be done for it to be robust. I think there's still a lot to go forward, but and anyone who's getting an in right now, I still consider them pretty early. I mean, like people, that my grandmother should be able to buy Bitcoin without any fuss and get it to a fortune that's mainstream. But as long as like my friends do not have cryptocurrency, then we just like just planting the roots to the cryptocurrency or actually exist. I really believe it's the level and the next layer of financial infrastructure and just financial platforms and so forth, and also just generally like, the ability to what is it called, stretch its hands to anybody who hasn't like been banked in a bank list. The funny thing is about cryptocurrency, it doesn't get you banked, it banks you. So it's like unbanked and unbanked again. So just to sum it up, I think there's immense opportunity. I think it's very risky still. I still think it's everyone and pretty early, and the early getting, yeah, it's more it's risk. It was a lot more in 2017. Now right now it's a lot less riskier. So like the earlier you get in, the more you can benefit from. And yeah, buy Ethereum or Bitcoin.
All right. Thank you, Eugene. Next we'll have Ken, then we'll close off with Kevin.
Yeah, so for me, I just like to urge anyone who is looking at this crypto game as a get-rich-quick scheme to stop. Because the applications span much farther than just finance. You know, this can solve so many of our problems, especially here in Africa, that we're kind of doing ourselves a disservice if we're just thinking in terms of finance. Like we say, you know, it can help the electoral process immensely. Not just that, simple things like the tender process where so much money is lost here in Kenya. I think like crypto can completely clean that process up and just open up new opportunities here in Africa that weren't possible because of this small scale corruption that plagues us. So I would like us to not think of it just as a financial vessel, but just think of it for what it actually is, which is it's a tool that encompasses every field that we have conjured up so far as a capitalistic society. And I'd like Kenyans or Africans who are thinking about getting into crypto to not just think about it in financial terms, but also in just problem solving terms. Yeah.
Thank you, Ken. Yeah, Kevin, it's you.
For me, I'd say that Bitcoin and crypto will affect everyone, like whether you decide to be curious and buy or not. And I think it's one of the sectors or industries right now, and that has the highest return, especially for young people, because these are things that people in the older generation are either ignoring, they think it's a fad, or they're not in the right mind space to participate in it. And when we are looking at wealth flowing from old generation to new generation, I think this transition, if you play it nicely, you're going to be really you're going to really benefit financially. And another thing is that right now the market is quite overheated. Like, I mean, Bitcoin is up like Bitcoin is up like almost 20 times from its lows, which was 3K to 20K. Ethereum is up like again, like also almost 30 times, from like $180 to right now like $2,800. I mean, people have made a lot of money, and even when you see people buying NFTs for $10,000, $100,000, it's because they have these crypto profits that they've made for being in crypto for long. So don't get caught up too late in the hype, and then you are left 2022, 2023, seeing your portfolio going to zero, and you feeling bad that crypto market, you've lost money in crypto market. So take your profit slowly as the higher we go. Ensure you've gotten your initial investment back and something more. And during the bear market, it's gonna come. Like crypto has these cycles where it can be like 1 year of a party. Like 1 year you just party the whole year, and then the next 2-3 years are going to be rough. Like I mean, prices just be going down, and you try to trade and they go down again. So that's the time to sharpen your skills, concentrate on something. If it's a product that you want to build, like Ore talking about his NFT gallery, that's the time to build, and not the time to run away and stop even thinking about crypto. Right now we're talking about crypto because it's all over the news, and like everyone is kind of interested to invest right now because they've seen prices going dramatically up. But don't really follow the crowd. So when all this fad ends, I hope we'll still have another free mind sessions, and in 2022, and
even before the year ends. Why are you stretching us so far?
Okay.
We are going to have this conversation. What do you mean?
Yeah. Take care. Be careful out there. One person gaining means another person is losing. So be careful.
All right. Thank you, Kevin. And thank you guys for all of your remarks. Yeah. Just as we're signing out, we have a podcast, guys, and it's called the Free Mind Sessions podcast. It's available on pretty much every streaming platform except Apple. If you want it to be on Apple, please talk to the Apple guy, because the configuration process it takes forever. So just spam that guy so he can speed up that process. And our next episode drops tomorrow, so keep your eyes and ears peeled for that. Guys, I feel like this brings us to the end. Finally, the final end. I'm pretty sure some people haven't had a chance to go to the bathroom. This is now your chance. Thank you so much for tuning in, everyone. Again, to the gentleman that joined us, we couldn't have done this without you. Thank you so much. This has been our 38th session of Free Minds. And until next time,
stay free-minded.
Please stay free-minded.